Welcome everybody to the Fall Damage Central podcast. I gotta train my brain to say that. I keep wanting to say Game Break, but Fall Damage Central, episode 6, I believe. I got Old School Legend Gaming here. What's up, Old School?
Yo, how's everybody doing?
Yo, every time I say your name, I have to physically read it on the screen and say Old School Legend Gaming, because I always want to say Old School Gaming Legend.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like both ways, or you could just do the old school legend. That works too.
Yeah. In one of my recent GTA videos I said, "Oh, I'm glad my buddy Old School Gaming Legend recommended this to me." But then I was like, "Damn it, that's not it."
But I kind of like that too, man. I kind of like old school gaming legend.
Heard that. Good, because it might happen again.
Yeah, that's fine, man. Maybe I'll do a little rebrand over here already.
So this week, I know we talked about the little teaser scene that we got from Twisted Metal, the Twisted Metal show coming on Peacock, I believe. This week they released a whole new trailer. Did you see that?
I sure did.
I think it looks pretty good. I'm just kind of concerned. There's looks to be like a lot of slapstick type comedy in there. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Definitely, man. I think this is going to be one of those dark slapstick type comedies, like a lot of adult humor. I don't think this is going to be geared towards the mainstream audience. I think this is really being done for the Twisted Metal fan, which I am. So I'm very excited for this show.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. It looks like they got some good actors in there. I'm a big fan of Anthony Mackie. And since you blew my mind a few weeks ago telling me Sweet Tooth was Samoa Joe, I'm kind of excited about that too. He's looking good.
Yeah. So I'm interested how the story in the show is going to be. So it looks to be a little bit different than the story from the games. So in the games, there's a guy named Calypso, and essentially you join this tournament, and if you win, he grants you any kind of wish you want. I don't know if there's a Calypso. There's a woman who looks like she's sending Anthony Mackie out on some jobs and stuff. So I'm wondering if she's gonna be the Calypso or a new villain or how that's gonna work. But I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, I heard from somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but it's kind of like obviously like a post-apocalyptic world, and people go on runs, I guess, to different from city to city, like making deliveries and stuff, and then you run into like the people that want to rob you and take your stuff or whatever, and I don't know. So I think it's going to be one of those post-apocalyptic kind of things. Does that match up with the game at all? Is that like post-apocalyptic there too?
So I guess it is post-apocalyptic, but with the games, it's just an arena, right? So it's you against like 4 or 5 other people, and you drive around, you collect power-ups. Each vehicle has their own special moves, and pretty much you're just out there trying to destroy the other vehicles. There's no like missions or anything where like you stop and go and pick up a delivery or make a delivery. I think they're probably throwing that into the TV show just to kind of make it more interesting,
make it a little suspenseful. Like, is he gonna get there?
Yeah, and to just have like some kind of plot, because I think if they just had a TV show with a bunch of guys in an arena just like shooting themselves, I just don't know how well that would translate to television.
Yeah, I get it. The only real Twisted Metal game I put any kind of real time into was Twisted Metal Black on the PS2. That's really it. I know I think you gave me at one point the Twisted Metal for PS3, and I have yet to play it.
Yeah,
but it looks pretty sweet. I want to get into that.
So Twisted Metal Black is my favorite. There was another one that came out. It was on the PSP, and they ported it over to the PS2, and it's called Twisted Metal Head On. That one was pretty good too. But the real popular one, man, is Twisted Metal 2. And sure enough, next week on PlayStation Plus Premium, Twisted Metal 1 and 2 are dropping.
Ooh.
Yeah. So people are going to get a chance to play that if they have PlayStation Plus Premium.
Are they the original PS1 games, or are they remasters, or what?
Yes, sir. No, they're the ported PS1 games that they do on the like the Legacy service. So you're probably going to have some trophies, probably like upgraded frame rates and stuff. But the controls, I would imagine, are going to be the same as they were back on the PS1. For a gamer today, that's probably going to cause a little bit of problem because the controls weren't the best back then when it came out. That was like the first of its time, so you didn't know any better. But now, like, controls are so much better now. You know, like with dual analog sticks and just like the feedback, the vibration and stuff. So I don't know if they would have any updated controls on that. I would hope so, but I'm not holding my breath on that.
Nice. Well, I'm definitely gonna pick them up if they're free on PS Plus for sure.
Yeah,
I'll give them a go.
Two is definitely better than one. One is a little archaic at this point. You know, even I would even say pretty corny. But part 2 was definitely the one to play back in the day.
And they're all essentially the same, right? You get dropped into like arena with all the different players and just battle to the death, pretty much.
Yeah. You pick your character. You know, they got a little story going along, depending on who you pick. I always like Warthog. Warthog was always the man.
Each player has their own story, because that's how it was in Twisted Metal Black. Yeah,
it's the same way.
Nice.
In all the other ones. So I wonder if they're going to release Twisted Metal 3 and 4 eventually, because those were kind of trash, to be honest, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Was either those were before Black, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those came out. So Twisted Metal. So it was Twisted Metal 3, Twisted Metal 4, and Twisted Metal Small Brawl. They all got taken over by 989 Studios. And for whatever reason, man, they just the controls just did not function correctly. It was just like very clunky. The music was really good because Rob Zombie did the soundtracks for 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So it had some pretty good rock music in there, but outside of that, man, the games are horrible.
Nice. Well, I'm sure at some point we will get them, regardless.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not looking forward to having them. But, you know, hey, I'm sure there's somebody out there who likes them.
Yeah. Also this week, so for now, I say for now because I'm sure the FTC is probably going to appeal or something, but it looks like Microsoft has got the green light to buy Activision now. The judge ruled in Microsoft's favor. But actually, like an hour ago, I was reading through Twitter, and it looks like FTC is trying to move to appeal. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go. But my question to you is, do you really think that Microsoft buying Activision is going to be a monopoly, essentially, in the gaming world?
I don't think so. You know,
I don't think so either.
There's a good possibility if they did that, they would lose on so much money. Obviously, the name of the game is to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, I think in order to gain the most revenue is to have your product on as many available consoles as possible.
Yeah, so I know they're making money hand over fist with the Game Pass, right? And I think that's the best deal going in gaming today. But there's got to be more money to be made if you allow games like Call of Duty and stuff like that on the PlayStations and Nintendos, which they've agreed to do for the next 10 years.
Yeah. So Microsoft is going to be keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation for the next year, for the next 10 years on parity with Xbox. So parity meaning it's going to be equal. So the way I'm taking that is there's not going to be any exclusive DLC packs for the Xbox that the PlayStation won't get. In addition to, we're going to see COD coming to the Nintendo Switch, in addition to cloud gaming services. I think that's pretty cool, but I just don't know how well a modern Call of Duty is going to run on a Nintendo Switch, unless, of course, we get the well rumored and fabled Nintendo Switch 2
I knew
or
where
Nintendo
you're going.
Switch Pro or whatever. But for the listeners, in case nobody knows what's going on, so the the FTC case, they built a potential anti-competitive case against Microsoft for the acquisition, because there was worry that Microsoft would have exclusive control of several of the largest video game franchises. So pretty much a monopoly, which that would actually really suck for us gamers too, because we would probably everybody would probably end up getting an Xbox, which in my opinion, I don't get into the tribalism of video games, but there's some people who can only afford to get one console. And right now, if somebody has a PlayStation and they want to play, I don't know, say Crash Bandicoot, right? So Microsoft has ownership of that. They kept it exclusive. Now you can't play Crash Bandicoot because you need an Xbox to do that. So are you going to drop $500 for an Xbox console just to play Crash Bandicoot? Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely would not. I'm with Starfield coming out, I'm probably most likely going to purchase a Series X for it, which I've said in the past. But for Crash Bandicoot, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, and that might have been a poor example, but you kind of get the gist of it.
When Bungie left Microsoft and started making Destiny, I recall Sony getting a lot of exclusive items for Destiny. Am I right with that?
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, it's not like it's never happened before. Sony was all good for it when it was in their favor, but now when it looks like it's swinging the other way towards Microsoft, they're like, no, can't do that.
Yeah. And now there's rumors, and these are just rumors, man. So if anybody hears them, just take it with a grain of salt, that Sony, in response, they're going to purchase Square Enix.
Yep, I heard that.
I don't think that's going to happen. You know what I mean? I think, like these rumors online on social media, they spread like wildfire. It's only been a couple of days. From what I read, the FTC filed an appeal today. Whether it gets approved or not, it's a different story. So we'll see what happens there. But one interesting thing is I was looking at the year-to-date sales, the year-to-date console sales, and some interesting numbers, man. So we got, as of right now, 2023, Sony PlayStation 5 is at 1,257,932 units sold.
Really? That's it? I thought it'd be more than that.
Nintendo Switch is at 1,140,489.
Oh, I thought that was more than that too.
I would think it would be more than that too, especially considering it's been out longer.
Yeah, it's been out since like 2017 or something, 2016.
Yeah. So Xbox comes in at 456,921.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, can that be partially because all their Game Pass games are almost all of them are on PC Game Pass?
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the logistics. I don't know the stats on how all that stuff goes in, but the percentages. So Sony PlayStation sales up from 2022, 77.5%. Xbox sales went down, negative 24.5%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, if the tribalists out there that are Xbox is better, Sony is better, I mean, the proof is there in the numbers, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Microsoft really needs a big W. And I think with their showing, their little presentation that they had a couple of months ago, I think they're on the right track. I think they have some good stuff coming up.
That's the thing. Well, it's always coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
when are we going to get some of these games?
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. But going back to Game Pass, that is a fantastic deal. You essentially do not need to buy any video games. You could buy an Xbox and you could pay $15 a month for Game Pass and have hundreds of games to play at your disposal. New games, old games, original Xbox games, Xbox 360 games. Now, Sony, they have their stuff now too with the Sony Plus, PlayStation Plus Premium and Extreme, or like whatever it's called. So you're getting to a point now with these consoles where you don't need to buy games. You could literally buy the console, sign up for these programs, and or these memberships rather, and just have games at your fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah. But Sony doesn't feel like the one thing Sony is lacking in that area is day one releases on their service like that. Because as far as I know, they don't release like Final Fantasy 16. That did not come out for free on PS Plus.
Oh yeah, no. So is it possible we could get Final Fantasy 16 for free eventually?
Yeah, like a
maybe,
year or so from now, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. But we have seen that Sony has put their their AAA first party titles out on the PlayStation Plus program. So you sign up for that, man. You could play Returnal, Ghost of Tsushima, both the PS4 version and the PS5 version, Death Stranding, Horizon Zero Dawn, both of them.
Great games. Great games.
Yeah. Yeah, so PlayStation, man, they've put out some bangers for PlayStation Plus, man. They really have.
Oh yeah. And talking about Final Fantasy 16, I know currently it's a PS5 exclusive. Do you know? I don't know off the top of my head, but do you know if it's a timed exclusive, like it'll eventually go to Xbox, or is it strictly PlayStation for the life of the game?
I think this one's going to be a strictly PlayStation for the life of the game.
Now, do you think that's like a move, like a good faith type move with Sony? Be like, hey, maybe they are working a deal behind the scenes where they'll buy Square Enix. Do you think that might be a possibility, or no? You're sticking to it.
Maybe. So, I don't want to misspeak on stuff, but I think there's something going on with Sony where they pay more money to have certain exclusive titles from Square Enix on their consoles. And I'm not 100% certain on that. So I don't want to go too much more in there because I don't want to, I don't want anybody to question my credibility, and I don't want to speak on something. But yeah, I think it's something like that. As far as Sony buying Square Enix, I just can't really see it happening.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Stranger things have happened. I guess only time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were talking just before we got on here about, I heard in a YouTube video, I can't remember who it was. I think it was RGT85. Maybe it was somebody else. But I heard, and I didn't read them for sure, myself. I know you did, but the court documents apparently got leaked didn't got leaked. They're public knowledge or whatever, but the information got leaked that, PS4 Pro and Slim models are coming at some point in the future. But you were saying before we started recording here that it didn't say anything about a Pro, just a Slim model.
Yeah, that's correct. So I didn't see anything about a PS5 Pro. It's very possible it's something I could have overlooked, but I only saw mention of the PS5 Slim.
Okay. See, yeah. I was thinking about it when I saw that. I don't know what they could possibly do besides maybe increase some storage on a Pro model. Like, I don't know if that'll even justify a Pro model is with just increased storage.
Yeah, I'm not really sure like what a Pro model would accomplish. So, I mean, it could be native 8K, but I think the PS5 already puts out native 8K. The problem is like 8K is not really
a thing really right common. Now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And like as far as I know, there's no console games that could be upscaled to 8K right now. So I don't. If they were to release a PS5 Pro, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning would be behind it, other than just to be a cash grab. I would like to see if they did that. I'd like to see them have a drive where you can play PS3 Blu-rays, PS2 DVDs, PS1 CDs. Like,
don't say it and it not happen. You're gonna get me all excited.
Like, if they had something like that, I would pre-order a PS4 Pro. PS5 Pro.
Yes.
Like, no questions asked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would love more than anything than to play some PS3 games with some better frame rates, maybe little enhanced graphics. And that's where Xbox is killing PlayStation right now.
Oh yeah.
Because if you have an Xbox Series X, man, you could throw in your Xbox 360 copy of a game, and you're gonna get an enhanced version of that. You're gonna get like upgraded frame rates, a little bit better visuals.
Yeah, and I say I'm getting a Series X for Starfield, but honestly, yeah, Starfield's a big part in that. But I got a ton of original Xbox and Xbox 360 games on my shelf that I want to play, and I know that my Xbox One X will play it, but I want to play it on I want the best version of that game that I can get, and that's going to come from the Series X.
Yeah.
And so another thing that you put me onto this afternoon was the limited run kind of showcase they had yesterday, I believe. Was it yesterday?
Yep. Yeah, it was yesterday.
I like the little aesthetic. I like the little aesthetic they had with the 1995 E3.
Yeah. So I wasn't really sure about limited run games, like, being a publisher for stuff like this, but yeah. So apparently, anybody who listens to Modern Vintage Gamer, he's a developer with the Carbon engine.
I saw
And
that.
he's been working on some of the games that are going to be coming out here. Some of these remakes that are coming out.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I'm subscribed to him on YouTube, and he does some cool stuff. I like watching his videos. But out of that showcase, what are some of the games that got you excited? I know, again, we talked before this, and we have pretty much the same excitement for the same games. So let me have it. What you got?
Yeah, so for me, the big three is going to be Clock Tower, Gex, and then the Gex trilogy, I should say, and then the Jurassic Park classic.
Yes.
Yep. Man,
I'm curious. I'm curious if that Jurassic Park collection is going to have the Game Gear version of Jurassic Park. That's like my main definitive Jurassic Park game that I played on the Game Gear on long car rides when I was extremely little. So I'd love to get my hands on something like that.
I would imagine so. So what I've seen so far, it's the Super Nintendo version and then the Sega Genesis version.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's only the first one from the Sega Genesis, because I don't think there was a Jurassic Park 2 on Super Nintendo. There might have been, but I specifically remember a Jurassic Park 2 on the Sega Genesis.
Okay. Yeah.
So it would be nice if we got like a little collection of, all the iterations of the classic Jurassic Park games. I think that would be really cool.
That would be really sick. I still have my Game Gear too, and I put some batteries in it like a year ago and seen if it would still work, and it didn't work. I'm wondering if I just need to get the AC adapter and plug it in and see if that works.
Probably need to get a recap done on it. Those are known to have pretty leaky electrolytic capacitors.
Oh, great. Just perfect.
Yeah, pretty much all those consoles, man, that you're looking at 20, 30 years of these consoles being alive, essentially. So
yeah,
they're gonna break down. There's gonna have to be some stuff you're gonna have to replace here and there.
Yeah, and worst comes to worst, if it's done, maybe just get it modded, better screen, and
yeah, man, get you a backlit LCD screen put on there.
Ooh, yeah,
yes, sir.
You mentioned Clock Tower. That is something that's never been released in the US, right? That's a Japanese only game.
I don't know, to be honest with you. So, my experience with Clock Tower comes from the PlayStation 1. I own an SD to SNES EverDrive cart, and I've got the ROM of Clock Tower on it's like the Super Nintendo version, which I think this remake is going to be of, and it plays similar to, or I should say the PlayStation plays similar to that one, but I guess maybe since I played the PlayStation version first, I kind of like the PlayStation 1 version better than the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, there is a PlayStation 1 version, huh? I thought wasn't there something that came out on maybe the PS2 or PS3? Or am I thinking of something else?
So on the PlayStation 1, there's Clock Tower 1 and Clock Tower 2. And then on the PlayStation 2, I'm sorry, did I say PlayStation 2? On the PlayStation 1, it's Clock Tower 1 and Clock 2.
Yep.
On the PlayStation 2, it's Clock Tower 3. And
okay.
That's that was actually done by Capcom, and that's one of those harder to find games. Luckily for me, I own that one, and it's It's fantastic. That's probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Nice. Is it like the one they showed off here? Is it like a 2D side scroller thing only with
No, no, man. It's like it's like a 3D, or I'm sorry, third person
Wow.
over the
Okay.
shoulder type. Yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
you gotta remember it's back on PlayStation 2. So if somebody were to play it now, it's not going to be as impressive.
Yep.
But being that I played it back then when it had come out, it's always going to be impressive to me. It's like it's such a good game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for this limited run game they're putting out for it. And being a complete noob to the series, it looks pretty cool. It looks interesting. I guess so. There's no weapons at all in that game. You can't. There's a guy with scissors chasing you around, from what I saw in the trailer, and you pretty much just got to survive and escape it somehow, right?
Yep. So essentially, what it is, it's and I'm speaking a bit on my PlayStation One. You know, I have played the Super Nintendo version, but as I stated previously, I like the PlayStation One a lot better. So on the PlayStation One, it's a point and click game. So
Yeah.
they had a PlayStation mouse that you were able to play with and everything. So what you do is, there's certain things you got to do first, like to increase the story, but then nighttime will come and then he'll come after you. So pretty much what you have to do is like you run, you hide. But hiding isn't always the answer to that, because he might know there might be a spot where you see a bed and you run under the bed to hide, and he knows you're under the bed, so he just like stabs the bed with his scissors and kills you.
God, freaky.
There, yeah, it's scary as hell, man. Like it's like really panic inducing. And I know it sounds bad me saying that, but it's a good kind of panic, man. It's like it's sweaty.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get real sweaty playing this.
I feel like any game that can make you feel a genuine emotion like that, regardless of whatever the emotion is, that's a good game.
So it's the music too. Like the music is super creepy, man. So like it'll be super quiet. You're just like chilling, and then all of a sudden you just hear that music hit, like when he's like around the corner or whatever.
Yep.
And there's times where you won't see him, and you think you're running the opposite direction from him, and you'll run like right into him.
God, creepy as hell,
Yeah.
man. I might have to check that one out. Another one I was kind of intrigued to see, which I'm not a fan of it on console, but Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 on Switch. I think that's pretty cool. I was a huge Roller Coaster Tycoon fan way back in the day when I had my Hewlett Packard PC in like 2000, 2001 or whatever it was. I played the crap out of that game, man. And honestly, I just bought Park Beyond on Steam because I just had that feeling for nostalgia and built a nice amusement park builder type thing. So I bought that last week. And I was looking at Park Beyond because they have Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 on Steam too, but that game did not age well. It looks pretty bad. The trailer they showed off here for the Switch, it didn't look as bad as it does on Steam, but like the people and everything, it didn't look too good. So Park Beyond is a lot cleaner version of that. So I'm gonna get ready to play that.
Nice.
And then another one, Tomba. Okay, that's something I've never played, but it looks kind of interesting. And I know it's an extremely expensive game if you're trying to find it right now. Ain't that like over $100 for that thing?
I think so. So back in the day when I was like collecting hardcore, I was always trying to get it, and it was always like in the 60, 70 range.
Yeah.
It might actually be a lot more now. So I'm actually going to pull it up right now. Let's see.
Okay. I just think it's cool that they're putting that out as a limited run thing, just for people that don't want to pay that extreme price for the actual PS1 version of it.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this one right now. New listing, PS1 complete, clean, minty case, tested working, $190. Buy it now, $10.65 shipping. Nah. Here's one sealed, Y-fold, factory sealed, very rare, $1,149.95, $5 shipping.
Wow.
No, thank you. Let me. Let's see what has sold. All right, so it looks like we just had a somebody just purchased one complete in box, authentic and tested, $159.99 plus $565 shipping, $134.99 plus $699 shipping, $165, $796 shipping.
I can't do
So
it.
yeah, no. Hey, listen, let that remake come out, and that'll be just fine.
Yep. Oh yeah. Even better probably.
Yep.
Hopefully. Gargoyles remastered. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, I forgot about that one.
I was a big Gargoyles fan when I was a kid. Man, I might still have an action figure somewhere around here. But I like watching the cartoon. I like playing with all the toys and everything. So and this game I never actually got, but I might pick this up and give it a go for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah, so I remember my cousin, he had it on the Sega Genesis. And I can't remember like how good it was, but I saw that and it just tickled that nostalgic bone for me, man.
Yep.
Because I just remember being at my cousin's house, like always playing it and stuff. So I'm gonna pick that one up, not because I like the game, but I have like a super nostalgic feeling for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Gex Trilogy is coming as well.
Yes, sir.
So I don't have any experience with the Gex Trilogy, but I know we talked about it when we were looking at the GamePro magazine last week or the week before. It looks pretty cool. I might pick that one up and run through it once or give it a go.
Yeah. Gex was always fun, man. I was always a Gex fan. So I'm looking forward to this trilogy coming out. Definitely probably end up picking it up for like a good price if I can get a decent price on it. I'm not sure, being that this is limited run. I'm not sure if these are just going to be like actual quote unquote limited runs of these games, or if these are going to be, we're going to see like retail releases for them. So maybe they pop up into like a Best Buy or something.
Yeah, we have a limited run store by us too. We should go check that out at some point. Well, never mind, because you're moving. Maybe I'll go check it out.
Yeah. I got about 2.5 more weeks here.
Yeah. And then the Castlevania collection, all the Game Boy Advance games. It looks like you got Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, and Dracula X. And pre-orders for that start July 28th.
Yeah. You could buy that already digitally.
Yeah.
But for the physical collector, there's already people. It's probably going to be very hard to get. I would imagine the pre-orders are going to sell out very quickly, and within 15 minutes of them being sold out, you're going to start seeing listings on eBay for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. $500.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me.
Please don't buy those guys.
Yeah.
Please do not support the scalpers, man.
Hell no.
I was always a big avid game collector, and scalpers pretty much have ruined game collecting, I think, for a lot of people. Everybody has gold. Everybody,
Yep.
I got a Nintendo game. I got NFL on the Nintendo. Oh, this has got to be worth at least $800.
Yep. This game is 20 years old, so give me $800 for it. No thanks.
Yeah. So, I get the concept of limited run games, but I get really aggravated when they do stuff like this, because I kind of feel like that artificial scarcity gets created.
Yeah.
And then you create like that FOMO panic, and people just start buying stuff. And hey, there's people out there who legitimately want to get this because they legitimately want to own this. They legitimately want to play the game. And those people are going to miss out because somebody's like, oh, hey, I can make a buck off of this.
Have you been to the Limited Run Games store before here?
I have not. No, I have not.
So I went there once before, and they have stacks on stacks of games that they've released over the last few years there. Games that I thought would be a little more rare than they are, I guess. Like if you look on pricing on eBay and stuff, you know, $100 games, $80 games maybe, and they just have stacks of them there at their store. So I don't know if scarcity is really a reason for the insane prices. Like Turok, I got Turok there. Was that Turok? I don't know. I got something there. I brought it home. I paid whatever retail was for it, 30 or 40 bucks. And I got it home and I started looking to see what recent eBay listings have sold for, and it was like $70, $80. And I don't know why, because I just went up, picked one copy up off the shelf where they had maybe like 30 or 40 of them and brought it home. So it's just crazy what people, scalpers are doing. It's nuts.
Yeah, it gets really aggravating. So I know Best Buy carries some limited run games also. So there's been a couple of times where I've gone in there and being a rewards member, I'd had like a $10 coupon off or something like that, and I was able to use that and get the game for a little bit cheaper. But I know like they've had problems in the past also where they released it and then the publisher actually releases like their physical copy. So you go and pay $90 for the limited run copy while the publisher releases theirs for like 40 bucks, 50 bucks or whatever. So I know there was a lot of drama with that. So
yeah,
I don't know. I understand business. I understand limited run games does their thing, but I think when they do stuff like this, I think that's when it creates a problem. Because you're right. There's probably going to be an opportunity for somebody to walk into that store and, oh man, we all sold out, but they're going to have like 100 copies there on the shelf for the people that come into the brick and mortar.
Yep. Yeah. The last announcement for Unlimited Run I wanted to talk about, which I'm kind of excited to see. It wasn't really an announcement, it was more of a teaser. They said they have 2 new retro games coming out. They're working on them based on the 2 most popular cartoons from the 90s, from 95 to be exact. And I got the 15 best cartoons from the 90s pulled up here on my other screen. And I'm wondering, let's see. I'm wondering what it's going to be. Do you have any ideas or?
So I would guess one of them would be Darkwing Duck. I don't know if Darkwing Duck would be on that list though. I can't quite remember when Darkwing Duck came out, but the Darkwing Duck game on the NES is fantastic. Fantastic platformer. I would throw it up there with Mega Man.
Yeah. That's an expensive one to get now, ain't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then possibly the other one, I would say DuckTales, but DuckTales recently had a resurgence a few years back. Chip and Dale, I would think.
Man, see, this is why you're on the show with me. You man, you blow my mind every time. I got this list of 15 games pulled up, and the 2 that you just spit out is like, man, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's all stuff from my childhood, man.
Uh-huh.
I am the old school legend for a reason.
I know it. I know. Yeah. But the 15 that they have listed here, and this has nothing to do with Limited Run or anything. This is just a website I found when I was Googling cartoons from 95. All Real Monsters was number 15. Powerpuff Girls was 14. Doug, I don't see him making a game on Doug. Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy had a game back in the day, didn't they? That was on SNES, I think.
Yep.
Rugrats, of course. Beavis and Butthead, I believe they had a game, didn't they?
Yep.
So I was thinking maybe it could be a remake of the Beavis and Butthead game. Well, not a remake, but a remaster. Hey Arnold, Pinky and the Brain, I believe they had a game. Animaniacs, Dexter's Laboratory, Recess, SpongeBob. Well, SpongeBob was 99, and Courage the Cowardly Dog was 99. X-Men. Do you think it'd be an X-Men game?
Ooh, what? I wonder what X-Men game they would remake though. Could it be the X-Men arcade game, maybe?
Oh.
Or what about Batman the animated series?
Oh, that'd be sick.
Oh man, yeah.
Man, I remember I played the Batman game on the Sega Genesis, and I love that. I never played the animated series on, I think that was SNES, right?
Mm-hmm. I think they had it on Genesis as well.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody has never seen Batman the animated series from the 90s, it's actually on Max. So if anybody has the subscription service Max, and you're into, like the 90s cartoons, man, take a peek at that.
Mm-hmm.
That series is just chef's kiss, man. So good.
I heard that's like the best animated show ever.
It was, man. So like between that and then the X-Men the animated series, oh man, like so good, man.
Have you rewatched that through Disney Plus, X-Men?
No, I have it in my queue though.
Okay. Yeah, I need to jump on some of them, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. So I've got season 1 of the X-Men the animated series on DVD. So I tend to watch that from, I pop that into the DVD player on the CRT, and I just sit there and bask in that retro glory.
That's awesome, man. That's all I had from the limited run. You got anything?
No, man, that's it. I just really wanted to touch on Clock Tower, Gex, Jurassic Park, and then the Castlevania Advance Collection.
That's what I'm talking about. So I've been diving into that Grand Theft Auto trilogy you put me onto.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, let me tell you, I'm glad you did. That thing is nice, man. I'm driving around. I've said it multiple times through my playthrough too. You go on my channel and watch probably. But I cut out a lot of the boring parts where I'm just driving from mission to mission. I tend to just put the missions on there. But man, I'm just on GTA 3 right now. I just got to the second island, and that thing looks so clean. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And
it's really good, man. I did see the short that you posted where you glitched into the ground.
yeah.
I was laughing my ass off, man. I have yet to encounter any glitches. So I can't say that, that was like a fluke thing. So when I played through Cyberpunk, I didn't encounter any glitches until the very end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So during my playthrough of Cyberpunk on the PS4 Pro, I didn't encounter any glitches. So I would tell everybody, like the glitches are fixed or whatever. And then when I got towards the end, something happened to where as soon as I spawned, like as soon as I died, and then my checkpoint was like right when I died. So every time I would respawn, I would just die. And so it was like, I like fell through the ground or something. So it wasn't anything that I could like press left and get out of the way or something of. It was just as soon as it restarted at checkpoints, boom, boom, boom. Luckily, I had a previous checkpoint that wasn't too far ahead. So I just had to go back and do that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I would recommend probably making multiple save files just in case on Grand Theft Auto 3.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only glitch I've come across so far, and I'm not even mad about it. It might have been one of those fluke things, but I'm really enjoying it. What I want to do is I want to play through 3, Vice City, San Andreas. I don't know if I'll do 4. I wasn't I played through 4. I beat it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But I might do 5. I might play through all of those on my channel. And whenever I get around to finishing them, hopefully by then GTA 6 will be out. And I can play that. Because I'm really excited about that. That's probably my favorite game series to play. I know
Yeah.
that it's just so awesome.
Yeah, I kind of lost my love for Grand Theft Auto after the PS2 because I had gotten Grand Theft Auto 4 in the 360, and it it felt weird playing on a 360 controller because
Yeah.
I was so used to the PlayStation controller. So then I ended up getting into the PS3, and then I couldn't get into 4. I just didn't like it. I thought it was boring. Um, and then 5 came out, and I know I told the story about 5 how I had it on the 360, on the PS3, on the PS4, on the Xbox One, and now I got the PS5 version. And I keep getting to the same point every time, and I just for whatever reason I just get to that point, and I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, the apex is Grand Theft Auto 3. Like that is my all-time favorite.
Oh yeah.
With Vice City coming in at a very, 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 very close second.
Yeah. I noticed there was another short I did. I was driving to do a Yakuza mission and I hit a ramp type thing and it launched me into the water. And I was like, oh no, that's crazy. And then I'm mashing triangle trying to get out. And I was like, oh shit, you can't swim in this game. I completely forgot you can't swim. So I just died in my car right there. I was like, damn, I forgot about that. But
Yeah,
I was thinking,
they introduced the swimming mechanic in San Andreas.
mm-hmm. Wow, so you didn't even have it in Vice City.
Mm-mm.
Wow. But yeah, I noticed, I was like, it's interesting to see the progression of all those games. Like in GTA 3, you didn't go in any buildings. And then Vice City, they opened it up a little bit. You can go into some, you could buy some buildings and you go in clubs and stuff. That was pretty cool. And then San Andreas opened up a little bit more and you could go in to a ton of different buildings and fast food joints or whatever. And 4 and 5 expanded on it a little bit. I'm hoping 6 is just like a open, go anywhere, do anything sandbox type thing. I think if they can pull that off, it's gonna be like, we thought GTA 5 was big for the past 10 years. I think GTA 6 will take us the next 10 or 15 years itself.
So if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and it's like completely open world, I will buy that day one because I do love an open world game. So I'm going to stand by and see what happens with that.
Yeah. I think if anybody can do it, Rockstar could do it. I'm super excited to see what they do with it.
So what's up with you in Final Fantasy 16, man? You had enough?
You had to bring that up, didn't you? For now, I think I have. And like when I came back from my vacation last week, I went away with the family. I sat down here in my chair when I got back and I had it queued up, ready to go. I was going to start recording some more. And I was just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to play that game right now. So I think I'm taking a break, and it was only going to be a day or two break, but I popped in Grand Theft Auto, started playing that, and I fell in love with it again. So I'm having such a good time playing Grand Theft Auto 3. I don't know when I'm going to get back to Final Fantasy, but I would assume at some point I'll go back to it, but I feel like I need to beat it, but I don't want to right now. I don't feel like it. It's just, I don't know. Have you beaten it?
I get it. Yep. So I did finish it. I will. I'm not going to say anything worse about it because it's not that awful of a game. I looked at a lot of other reviews and stuff, and people seem to love it, and
Yeah.
I just can't see what the love is about. So I've been playing, and then you get to a boss battle, and I will say this is probably one of the most epic, fun boss battles I've ever experienced. It was excellent. And then I was like, oh man. But then after that boss battle, you go through this lull, and it's just
Huh.
like, oh.
Now, was that towards the end of the game or kind of?
Probably like midway,
Okay.
I'd say. But yeah, man, and then it's just, hey, cutscene after cutscene after cutscene, and then so some of the side missions, I found out that there's side missions that are marked with a plus sign. So those side quests give you like good stuff, like stuff that could help. You get like a pouch to increase like your potions and all this other stuff.
Okay.
But and some of those side missions were actually pretty fun. Um, there's hunts in the game where you go to this board, you speak to one of the moves or whatever, and you figure out where the hunt is, and you fight like a strong version of an enemy. I did have a lot of fun doing those. That was that was pretty exciting. Um, Outside of that, man, the final boss, I was getting kind of nauseous playing it because of the whole like motion blur. But there's been a patch that addresses that, so you can turn motion blur off
That's good.
now with the patch. But it felt like there was so much going on the screen that I couldn't really focus on where like the enemy was, and just it was kind of a pain, man. You dodge a lot of beams coming out, like you're dodging a lot and all this stuff. So I would recommend if anybody's they're finding it boring. So number one, I would say don't use, if you can, do not use the medals that are the equipment that lets you automatically dodge and then pretty much does the attacks for you.
Don't use
Because
them.
that do not no, because that just turns the game into ugh.
Yeah.
Because like at that point, like you're literally sitting there and pressing one button.
Yeah.
So when you take those off and you start getting more of the icons, there's a lot of attacks and stuff that you can mix up, and I did enjoy that. That got really fun doing some big battles and doing some nasty stagger damage.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of times where I got like a trophy for doing like over like 50,000 stagger damage.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you start smashing people. Um, that was really good, man. The soundtrack, like Final Fantasy always hits on the soundtrack, so really good soundtrack. But then like the ending, man, I just meh,
Kind of fell
you
flat.
know. Yeah. So I finished it, man, and I deleted it off the hard drive, and now it's just gonna chill up there on the shelf, man. So I when they release DLC, probably won't get it until it goes on sale, um, if I get it at all. So it didn't feel like a Final Fantasy to me. So overall, I'd give it like a 7, 6.5, 7.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's better than, I guess, 0 being the worst you ever played, 5 being average, and 10 being the best. 6 or 7 is
Yeah.
not that bad. So it's above average.
Yeah, because like I said, it's not an awful game. Like if I came in here and I was like, "Oh, this game is garbage. It's trash," I would be lying.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I didn't enjoy it as much as some other people did, and that's okay. Different strokes, different folks. But hey, I'm glad I experienced it. But I have actually jumped into Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, yeah. Is this your first time playing through it?
So I'm actually playing through it now. So I played it like when it first came out. It was before the Royal Sword Edition, which has like all the DLC and stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the combat. I don't know. Like I didn't like, you get this car and like you drive around in this car, and it's like at night like there's demons come out, and you're like level 1, and these demons are like level 30. So you have to go and sleep until the morning, and then you travel during the daytime. You can't travel at night. So it got real boring, man. I didn't like the combat. Like I kind of felt like it was like real clunky and stuff. But being that I played through Final Fantasy 16, the combat is kind of similar almost. So I was actually talking to a buddy of mine, and he actually prefers 15 over to 16, which is the minority. Most people are saying 16 is better than 15, but he really enjoyed 15. So he's like, yeah, man, go like check it out one more time. You know, like with the Royal Sword Edition, all the editions and the DLC and stuff. He's like, just give it a try and see if you like it. So I'm actually on chapter 5 right now. And I think there's like 12 chapters. So I've gotten further than I previously had. And, not a banger, but it's not bad. It's got my attention.
Yeah. Nice. I've never played 15. I'm probably not going to go after 16. I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I'm probably good for another 10 years. Maybe when Final Fantasy 26 comes out or something, maybe I'll play that.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to go back to any kind of previous like battle style for Final Fantasy, because so thinking about it, I think the last like true turn-based Final Fantasy was 10. So I know with 11 and 12 they introduced I don't know what it's called, but like you're walking around and you see enemies, and then there's like a line that goes from you to the enemy, and then you
like a targeting system or something.
Yeah, similar to that. And then like you could pick like your potions or like your magic or whatever, and then you start fighting that way. And then 13 had that paradigm shift, which I couldn't figure that out. I need to go back because I've always wanted to play Final Fantasy 13. I've always thought it looks so good. But that paradigm shift just like got the better of me.
Yeah.
And then 14 is the MMO, which I just didn't get into. So I'm hoping to finish 15. Hopefully before the move, I'd like to finish 15, and then I think once I get my stuff all set up, I think I'm actually going to start. I'm going to play the first Final Fantasy.
NES.
And I think I'm just gonna. Yep. Actually, I don't know. So like, I keep going back and forth. So part of me, I want to play it on the NES because I do have the EverDrive where I can play it.
Yeah.
But I've got the collection on the PlayStation 1. So I know with the PlayStation 1, it's got like updated graphics, and they added some like FMVs and stuff.
Yeah.
But the last time I was using my PS1, like my laser's going out, so I got to replace that. And then like I thought about just getting like the Pixel remaster that they have in the PlayStation Store now.
Yep.
And just playing it like on the PS5, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I feel like games like that, some of the fun is going back and using the original hardware and playing the original game how it was meant to be played. You know what I mean? If I'm sitting there with a PS5 controller in my hand, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Man. Well, old school. I got big news, which you're already privy to, but people on YouTube might not know. But our podcast is now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, which is pretty cool. It's only been up there. Cool. It's only been up there 2 days now, maybe 3. And we got a whole 8 plays. Then only one of those is from me. So
yes, sir.
I don't know how many you've listened to. I've only told a couple of people about it, and I'm pretty sure they haven't gone and listened to it yet. But I'm pretty stoked about it. It's pretty cool. So
yeah, no, that's definitely amazing, man.
If you're watching on YouTube, go to either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to it, and listen to us there. If you're listening to us there already, you can come over to YouTube, subscribe to the Mighty Buildo on YouTube, and there's a video version of this. I realize you can upload video to Apple and Spotify, but I'm not going to do that. It's too it takes too long. I already got to wait like 2 hours for this to upload to YouTube. So just putting the audio onto Apple and Spotify it's uploaded within like a minute and a half. So I think I'm just going to stick with audio for those. If you want the video, go to YouTube, check it out. We're hitting about an hour now. You have anything else you want to talk about, or?
Nah, man, I think that's about it. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, buddy.
The GOAT Grand Theft Auto.
The creme de la creme. Heck yeah,
But
man.
yeah, outside of that, man, that's it for me.
All right. Well, cool. I appreciate everybody listening. I appreciate you, Old School, for hanging out with me again. Until next week, we'll see you next time.
Peace.